The wizard is finally here, at least on Wisden on the Vulture servers at the moment. It will be in all of the Wisden servers and what other servers end up adopting it after they publish or whenever the other servers feel like adopting it. Anyways, the wizard is probably one of the easiest antagonists to explain in the entire game. You are a wizard, your goal is to survive, and demonstrate to the station your powers. You are essentially an antagonist whose entire purpose is to cause as much chaos, death, destruction, really as possible, and hopefully not kill yourself, because the objective is to survive, but no one's going to punish you if you die. The wizard can spawn as the sole game mode, as an additional antagonist to the other game modes, such as a wizard during nukies, wizard during traders, or it could be a mid-round spawn. It's very rare that it'll be a mid-round spawn. The wizard is incredibly rare, period. Before we get into the fun stuff, the wizard is actually just an entirely normal person. You have normal health, you have no space immunity, normal movement speed, your default equipment isn't special, the things on your ship are special, and you also spawn with the Wizard's Grimoire, which lets you learn spells. We'll get to that in a moment, that's the fun stuff. You'll spawn in this room, which will have a Wizard Hard Suit. However, we'll get to more about the Wizard Hard Suit in a moment. Then you also have this extra room of equipment. In here, there is just spare wizard equipment. If it specifically says it is a fake piece of equipment, it is fake. You have a Clockwork Shield, which is just a shield that is resistant to all the normal types of damage except heat. And then you have a Mirror Shield, which is not resistant to Blunt Slash and Pierce, but good against heat. This also has a 95% reflect chance, and due to the fact that you are essentially a normal person just with wizard powers, you can be disabled very easily. You can be stunned very easily. Without armor, you could be shot to death in a second. You need to be very cautious with your engagements. I have never played Wizard on 13. I don't know how Wizard really worked with this on 13, but yeah, disablers are your nightmare as a wizard, unless you are using this shield. And thankfully, the wizard can do almost every single thing with one hand, so you can pretty much have the shield out at all times until it breaks, to hopefully reflect some disablers. Anyways, other quick tour on the ship. There's just some vanity rooms, some extra cosmetic rooms. There's a fax machine, a wireless camera monitor, which currently does not actually let you view the station, but I imagine that will probably get changed at some point in the future. There's a wizard comms computer in the bridge of the ship, but you actually can't make an announcement on it. Probably a bug. Here, you're probably going to want to turn your IFF off just like a Nuki, and like any other ship, you're going to have to FTL into the station's range and fly in directly. You do have a jetpack, you have mobility spells. Other than that, not much else to mention on this ship. Just, there's a free Omega Soap here if you want. However, the wizard actually can't get any slip immunity, as far as I'm aware at least. So you're going to have to steal slip immunity or just be good with your spells. And yeah, there's nothing else really going on here. You have an invisible box, probably useful to get on the ship. The fun of the wizard begins inside your Wizard Grimoire, otherwise known as your spell book. There are 5 categories of spells: offensive spells, defensive spells, utility spells, wizard equipment, and event spells. I'll just go down the line very quickly. I'm not going to be super in-depth with it. That could be its own video, or just figure it out yourself in game. Most of these are rather easy to understand. Fireball, very simple. The ability will appear in your top bar or on the left, depending on your UI layout. You select it, just like the Space Dragon, and you should launch it out. It does a ton of damage. It can destroy walls very quickly. It has a lot of range. The speed of it is very impressive. It's an incredibly powerful spell for only 2 Wiz coins, and you can actually upgrade it to all the way up to level 3, and the only benefit you get from that is a faster cooldown, so you can invest 6 coins into it, just 2 coins, 4 coins, it is up to you. The next one is Slippery Slope. This has a picture of an Omega Soap, and you can walk up to somebody in close range, and the spell is slippery, and if you walk on them, it quite literally makes them slippery, so if anyone walks into them, they will slip. It has a pretty long cooldown, but theoretically you can make everyone in the station slippery if you don't die by the time you get the chance to do so. Next we have Rod Polymorph, change into an immovable rod with limited movement. This item, or this spell, is honestly kind of cursed in Space Station 14. Normally you would just follow tiles, but you can move diagonally with it, but the basic use case of this is as you walk in a direction. So wait, I want to go through this clown and then through the wall. I walk in their direction, press the button, and you literally turn into an immovable rod that will delete everything. It is a phenomenal escape tool. It can be used aggressively. Defensively, it's in the list of offensive spells, but it's arguably better for defensive. It's usually how I saw it used in like Libra videos in Space Station 13 is more defensive, but you're going to end up normally accidentally killing people with it anyway, so it's a fantastic spell and probably why it costs 3 coins instead of 2. Next up is Smite. This is probably one of the most infamous spells in all of Space Station. Even people outside of Space Station know what the Smite spell is. This one specifically says it requires a robe and hat. So if I were to take off my hat, for example, it'll say you don't have the equipment. But if I do, it is the very infamous. Yeah, it's a on-click gib. It has a pretty lengthy cooldown, so don't expect to win a multi-fight against like all of security or something with it. But you can take out the head of security or captain instantaneously, as long as you get close enough. Lastly, we have the Clune Curse, and this is like Smite, but it turns somebody into a Clune. It's basically just a cursed clown. Doesn't kill them, but it will make them wish they were dead. Next we have defensive spells. Smoke is very self-explanatory. You leave out a big plume of smoke. You can't see through it, so it's really best for putting in a hallway and running, shooting a blind fireball through it, rotting through it, you name it. Can't see through it, and it doesn't last all that long, so make sure you make good use of it. However, the cooldown is basically non-existent, so you can spam the hell out of it. Next, we have Repulse. This just knocks things away from you. It's not even like a huge knockback. Few tiles, might be able to knock somebody into a grill or something, or get people stun batoning you off of you, or meleeing you, but it doesn't really do much other than that. For 2 points, I feel like it should stun or probably do something else. I don't know what it did in 13, but that one honestly seems really underwhelming. I know it's a showcase, but that one's not that fun or very useful. Next, we have Force Wall. This makes a 1x3 in front of whatever direction you're looking. So if I look this way, it will make a 1x3 in front of me. These walls are indestructible. You can walk freely through them. Other people cannot. Enemies cannot shoot through it. They can't chase you through it. And as soon as it expires, your cooldown will already be back up. I will warn you right now, I don't know how this was in 13, you cannot shoot a fireball through this. Just do not stand inside of it and shoot it. I hope I saved a wizard from killing themselves by putting that out there. That's all the defensive spells. Now we have utility spells. We have Void Applause, swap places with the target. Somebody's right in front of you. You activate the ability, click on them. You have this sick-ass animation. You'll have a little clap sound. I love the thematics of this one. It's like a 10-second cooldown, so it could be good if you're trying to teleport through, like, let's say a window. Yes, I know this is a showcase, but I like this one enough to give it an extra bit of time. Somebody's on the side of the bridge or on the side of a window. It doesn't care. Clap your hands together and swap places with them through the void. Next, we have Item Recall. Marker held item and summon it back at any time, so just a snap of your fingers. So if I pick up an item like my Grimoire, and I use the ability Mark Item, you draw a magical sigil on the wizard's grimoire, so I can throw it away and then summon it back to me. This will come in great handy as well with the future wizard equipment that we'll be showcasing. Next we have Ethereal Jaunt, slip into the ethereal plane. This literally just lets you turn into a blue ghost. You can fly through walls, you get good vision, but I'm glad I did showcase it this way. You can get stuck with it. The cooldown's not super long, so you can get unstuck, but this might get you killed. Again, trying to save a few wizards. Next, we have Mind Swap, and this exchanges your bodies with another person. This can not be done at range, just has to be done in melee. And this does quite literally swap you, but I believe you do intentionally keep your spells, but this also stuns you for a long time. So that one's going to be really, really hard to pull off in a normal scenario, but I can see some very, very funny moments happening with that. Ethereal Jaunt is also another upgradable spell. Spider Polymorph transforms you into a spider. This is, it quite literally lets you play as a spider, put webs, and you could transform back, and you can eventually transform back into a spider, but it will take a decent bit of time. Mjolnir is a melee weapon that, when thrown, will knock people over and stunning them. It does quite a decent bit of throwing damage in structural. Its melee also hits really hard. It does a lot of structural, does a good bit of blunt. However, the stun feature is on a cooldown, as we see there if I respawn somebody, so you can't perma-stun somebody with it, but, well, you kind of can. You can essentially throw it and recall it back in your hands and then throw it again. I believe if you recall it, it resets the cooldown. Probably not intended, but it's really not meant to be a stun lock. But having a one-hit stun weapon can definitely save you against somebody like security, and the damage is an extra bonus. The Singularity Hammer not only is one of the coolest looking sprites in any game I've seen, also is a weapon that requires wielding. So again, when I mentioned you need the shield, these weapons are not super great with it. This weapon doesn't do anything when thrown, but if you hit somebody with it when you have both hands on it, it will hit them and pull objects inwards. Next up is the first wand, and this is basically a gun style weapon that has a limited amount of ammo, and if you shoot somebody with it, they will turn into a carp. I think the carp is supposed to be friendly to you. I am a legit wizard, but the wizard doesn't seem like it has any components or anything that actually mark you as friendly to it. So that one's probably a little, or maybe it's even intentional. I don't know. I mean, it is just a carp, but it is like a magic carp. Either way, though, this is essentially a ranged insta-kill on somebody if you landed on them. I believe if it's a player controlled, if it's a player, they will be controlled as the carp, so maybe that's why. But if it's not a controlled player, they will turn into an AR carp that will attack you. I will go back and cover the charge skill. This gives you the ability to add 1 ammo count to your wand on a pretty long cooldown. Also, I have to love how this spell incantation is Duracell. Next, we have the Staff of Animation. This lets you turn inanimate objects into little minion followers. You can use it on pretty much any object I've seen. You could use it on your armor. It turns into a mob that just auto attacks somebody. It can be killed. You can even pick them up, but it'll keep attacking you. The Wand of Entrance is a wand, so charge will work on this. You basically will shoot out a bullet that will turn any wall or solid object into a wooden door, essentially letting you have all access to areas. And finally, we have the Wand of Locker, which, if you shoot somebody with it, will turn them and lock them into a magical locker. It doesn't turn them into a locker. They could break out of it, or you yourself actually can't even open it. I'm not sure what access it's supposed to use, but yeah, they would probably need assistance to get out of it. You could grab it and throw it. It has no weight, so you could really troll people with it. It's another really funny weapon. Also, the fact that it's literally a locker on a stick really adds to it. And onto the final category is different event spells. Summon Ghost is a little hard to showcase, but it essentially gives you a spell that allows you to see Ghost. It makes all current Ghost permanently visible, so if there's a lot of dead people flying around, they will be able to be seen. I'm not sure if it shows player revenants or not, but it's a simple one. It costs nothing. You might as well buy it just for some fun. Then there's Summon Magic, places a random magical item in front of everybody. It is not used automatically upon purchasing. It will be an ability you use. But when you do that, it will even give you a random magical item. So you can cause a ton of chaos on the station directly. We have Summon Guns. AK-47s for everyone, places a random gun in front of the everyone on the station. And yeah, like I got a water pistol, so it's not always going to be deadly. But since it's any gun, I would find it really, really funny if somebody could get the bang dead. I didn't look into it if you can, but that'd be super funny to have a debug item spawn from that. It would be totally broken, but the wizard's already super zany and wacky. And that is a very quick showcase of every spell. Awesome that this got done in time in February, met the deadline. I hope people are having fun with it. I've already tested it on Vulture. I can't wait to see it myself. Great work for everyone who worked on this, and as always, thank you for watching.